And welcome today to another episode of Amidst a Poinsetta. Today we have our guest Dan Parks. So, Mr. Parks, in the age of the news feed, poetry seems like an easy sell. Your parents must be proud, I guess. It says here on page 207, read this where you may, but I'd ask that it's on the toilet. It's where I do my best work. So is it true that you too think your poetry is shit? So you seem to be pretty proud of a poem named A Drink with Peers. I was wondering if you have any actual friends that are alive. A blurb here on the back. It says, when I was 13, I threw a croquet ball in the air and it came down square on top of this author's cranium. I feel like that must be where these come from. You're welcome, world. Would you say that croquet ball is only to blame for the speed bump atop your head where your soft spot used to be? Or did it also aid to your blatantly apparent weakness in spelling? Page 215 contains a poem called Mere Mimicry, in which you seem to have called out an English professor for saying that you tend to mimic your own life in your own work here. But then a contradiction comes later in the poem where it says you don't do that. Here on 217 it says, I don't read much, as a writer is told that he should. You suppose that you already have your stories already, and if your experience hasn't given them to you, maybe you should live a more interesting life, is what you say. My question for you, though, would it be mere mimicry, your cover of 30-something with Charles Bukowski's cover of You Get So Alone sometimes that it just makes sense? Were you alone when you seem to have mimicked his cover art? In the About the Author section, you've said you were born in San Jose, California, raised in the small riverside town of Glasgow, Missouri, and you currently live in Long Beach, California. Did you mention these three towns with the hidden intention of somehow elevating your status as a writer by always living near or close to some sort of body of water? No? Oh, okay. In summarizing the book here on the back cover, you say 30-something is a collection of poems of what it's like to be an adult in today's world. For all of us, it contains wins and losses, pride and shame, sorrow so deep that we can sink in it, and joy so full of air that we can float up to heaven's gate. I had a question for you, though. Where exactly were the winds located? So this has been another episode of Amidst a Poinsetta. Our guest today has been Dan Park. Is that Korean? His new book is called 30 Dumplings, and it can be found on Amazon.com. Stan, you said something about a book tour? Book tour coming in 2020. A couple spots in LA, a few in Long Beach, and possibly I'll let you know through Amidst a Poinsetta here. Thanks for having me on.